So PTB stands for patella tendon bearing. This cast revolutionized what we do, and it all kind of came from the same theory of a below knee amputation. If you look at prosthesis from BKs, they're all shaped in the same way. Surgeon by the name of Augusto Sarmiento is the one who invented it. He's very big on these things. He is still alive today. Scoot way towards me. There you go. And I have taken his theory and perfected it. I'm just kidding. I have read, he actually has a manual on how to do fracture bracing, and this is part of what they call fracture bracing at the same time, even though it is a cast. Right now you see nothing but the same stuff as a short leg cast, right? This is where I can't wear gloves. So what am I lining up? I know what she wants to see. Where do I have my bar between the metatarsals? Do you guys all remember that?
Third and fourth.
Boy, I think I heard 5 different answers there.
Third and fourth.
Third and fourth. He's right. And it does kind of depend on the person's foot too. What am I lining up here? Very good. Why do I need to line that up in this cast? Because you're controlling rotation in this cast. That's the whole purpose of this. It's like a Munster. Although a tib fib does not rotate like a radius and an ulna, but it does rotate a little bit. And this is going to prevent that. What will you treat with a PTB?
Patellar fractures.
Any tibial diaphyseal fracture can be treated in a PTB.
Knees at 90, ankles at 90.
Yes. Although the knee does not have to be, but it's a lot easier to get the ankle at 90 if your knee is at 90. Nothing different from what you guys saw or what I did last semester. The difference between this and a short leg cast is I actually wrap this up to about mid-thigh.
See how far away for her leg is from the side of the bed?
Yeah.
It's important. You guys forget all of that stuff. Next thing you know, you're trying to roll a roll through there, and there's not enough room to go through there. Try and remember the basics while you're rolling on a patient. It'll be next Monday, right?
Yep. Real patience come Monday. No fair puking on them.
Go over your books and just try and get this stuff back in your head. Whatever you got to do, practice tonight. But get it back in your head. See how he's padding extra on the knee, not in the back of the.
Yeah, I'm avoiding back here. I don't need to pad back there because I'm actually going to be trimming this out when I'm all done. This is very similar to a Munster, except for the tibia.
What I do to help me out in a position like this is just like we did the hip spiker where I fan folded on top of the knee, all the way back and forth. When you go to cut out back here, it's a lot easier if you don't have 1,000 layers behind, but you have the necessary layers up on the knee. A lot easier, save you a lot of time.
So the reason why I'm spending a little bit of time up here with my padding is because I know where the real borders of this cast is. The borders always are padded a little bit more because you're going to be rubbing up against them. And in this cast, just like a Munster, you rub up against them even more because anytime you have movement up near the cast, any border, it's going to drive the patient nutty. So the parameters to this cast are going to be patella tendon, right below the patella, femoral condyles, cut down around the behind the knee so that they can flex the knee to at least 90 degrees. That's all it has to get to. She'll probably be able to get 120 by the time I'm all done, flexion, but you only have to be able to get to 90.
This is just like a Munster, but it's for the knee. So what you want to do is you want to make sure it's thick enough up there at the knee that you don't have to go back, because you won't be coming back up this high with your money roll. So your first layers have to be finished. So make sure it's strong enough.
You guys get a lot of patients with the knee scooters?
We have been lately. There's like
Have you
the new
noticed-
thing now.
Pain?
Yeah, we'll put like a Zyfoam right down the visual shaft, but
You notice it's not everyone. I can't pinpoint which ones are having the pain and which ones. It's like 50-50, you know.
everybody's calf but mine. I've pretty much pinpointed it.
I know how to correct the problem, but it's just been like some patients won't go 4 weeks, not have any problems at all, and then some patients come back going, I'm nutty in this whole front part.
I think it's just the pain tolerance for that patient. I think.
All these casts gonna be walking or weight bearing?
They're non-weight bearing, but when the cast is non-weight bearing, they're putting weight down on their tibia.
Oh, because
You got the new those scooters.
what do you mean those scooters?
Well, it's like a.
Put your
it's
knee
like
up
a
on
scooter
it.
and it's all like this, and it's walking like this.
You never seen those?
Right.
I see them everywhere.
They're great. I did one. I can't stand crutches. They're awesome.
He put 2 in there. I think you guys should just start with 1 at a time.
Five times before I even work my way up. They're not big, and I don't really care what the behind the knee looks like. It's all being cut out. So I might get some wrinkles back there. Not be unusual. A true PTB should be weight bearing. Although I do put non-weight bearing PTBs on.
Most of the time it's going to be weight bearing. Hence the word bearing in the name. So I always build them up. Even if the patient's not supposed to, I build it up. Because that patient most likely is going to, 2 weeks down the road, he's going to start trying
Give me
it
one of
out.
those blue towels, Mike.
Did you mark out the toes right there just because you want to know?
Yeah, I'm marking out the toes. Although I'm not too concerned about those. I do use my thigh, relax.
Anybody got any markers?
Plenty of time. I did 4 rolls. Look at this. Plenty of time to mold.
Anybody got a Sharpie?
So what I've done here is I'm looking for the patella tendon. I'm shoving right up underneath the patella. And then I'm grabbing the femoral condyles. That's my mold. Also, I should be flattening out the calf. This is the one you guys don't do. Flatten the calf out. Patella tendon. Femoral condyles.
What are you doing someone like a little bit bigger? Can't find patella.
It's hard. You gotta find it. The biggest mistake people make with this cast is the femoral condyles. They actually do the tibial condyles, not the femoral condyles. And what this mold is actually going to do for you, this is actually the most important part. What the mold is actually going to do is it's going to stop them from straightening their knee completely. It'll stop them about 5 degrees short of full extension. Flatten out the calf.
What does that prohibit?
The calf. That's just kind of what he calls. I can't sit there and say specifically what he's trying to attempt by flattening out the calf, other than you do have two muscles. Sarmiento's literature says that he actually wants you to grab each muscle and kind of stick a finger in there between the two muscles. I don't particularly think that's a great idea, and I don't think Tom does either. We've always been doing flat molds behind here. A lot of people totally skip that mold completely, but to do it correctly.
I meant by the mold on the front. What are you trying to put?
I'm not. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
The patella mold is that's the one that's going to stop him or her from extending her knee when she walks. You'll see.
When you guys take it off of the stand and you put it on your knee, make sure that her foot is flat on your knee, not just the toes. Because what you'll do is end up hyperextending the toes. And once you do that, it's a bad
Yeah,
thing.
you don't want this. See how I'm extending the toes?
She won't notice that until you're completely done with the cast, and then say, you know what, my toes feel like they're pushing up.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you gotta start all over again.
This thing out, just like any mold that you put in that you're using as your border, you're going to trim out on the upside of the mold. So I will not cut down the middle of the mold, I actually cut on top of the mold. Now how do I know how far to go back? Pretty close.
Is that just like a hand's breadth?
Yeah, there is nothing that says hand's breadth or anything. They just have to be able to flex to 90 degrees. She's at 90 degrees now, and I can, you know what I mean? So, but you will find, like on the bigger patients, when they have a lot of adipose tissue back here, that just getting to 90 degrees is a struggle. You're going down to mid-calf just to get them at 90 degrees. So, any questions about cutting out the molds? Change a blade. You guys all changed blades last semester? Remember that? I remember you guys doing that. Yeah. That one needs changed. Yesterday. Now, in the back here, cut it down the middle. When you spread it right down the middle. And don't get too crazy pulling this out, because you always want a lot of padding, a lot more. Now, she does not straighten all the way out. You can see that? She's about 10 degrees shy. Relax. Totally relax.
Why do you think that is?
That patella mold. Not only that, the cast is digging into her when she straightens in, or straightens it all the way out. These femoral condyles are just digging into her leg. You feel that, don't you? So, if she was to straighten all the way out, you'd be able to get rotation. If you lock her, she can't rotate. If they can straighten all the way out, not done correctly.
For any tibial fracture.
Any tibial diaphyseal fracture, so that's pretty much from the distal third to the proximal third. Anywhere within there, you can treat them in this cast. In fact, most of the time they'll go, say they were, like some doctors, even after they rot them, they go into a PTB versus a long leg cast. If it's a kid where we didn't want to operate on them, we'll put them in a long leg cast, then bring them back, put them in a PTB.
In that situation, would you cut out the long leg, or would you just form it into a PTB?
You didn't,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah.
need the molds. Gotta have the molds.
Money roll would go right up to where
Yep, I was gonna do the money roll, so there's no question.